Hello everybody, and welcome back to Gwimb Discusses Random 40k Things. That is right. Now today I wanted to talk about something that I've talked about in Chapter Master before, but I've never really devoted a full video to it. And that is, in my opinion, one of the nicest and best strengths of 40k. And that is the ability to have your dudes. Now, this is kind of an odd concept, but let me explain. The idea that the universe is broad enough and the history vast enough that you can create your own characters and throw them into it. So you have a chapter master of the Ultramarines that you've made up yourself, made a nice model for him. Well, go ahead, you may have been a previous chapter master. Nothing wrong with that. So there's just some really brilliant things you can do with characters and models in the 40k universe. As I said, it's a brilliantly versatile setting. And you can have such a good fun with it. And with the old adage of, what is canon in the 40k universe, it's all justified and it's all perfectly cool. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about it. Now, the reason I bring this up is because I have been quite a big purveyor of your dudes for quite a while. And in fact, GW itself has been a bit of a purveyor of your dudes. Captain Tycho of the third company of the Blood Angels was originally a no-named Blood Angels captain with a combi melter and a White Dwarf battle report that got killed, and they wrote him into the story, and him being killed was retconned to him being wounded, and that was explained why he had the wounded face. And that's just brilliant. That's GW embracing your dudism. So I thought I would like to just talk about your dudism, but I'd also like to share some of my your dude-isms as well. Man, it's such a weird word. But I've written quite a few 40k stories, and you'll believe it or not, a lot of them are actually based on models I have, or, after writing the story, I have actually acquired said models. So, if we look over at my collection here, and see these two, they are in fact Sagar Artaris and Harturu Khan, from my Siege of Terra short story I wrote. After I did that story, I went out, bought a White Scars Captain, Mark II plate, and a Blood Angels Praetor, and I painted and built them up to be the characters from that story. So, that story literally just created those characters, and I put those characters to the tabletop. So, Sagar Artaris has replaced Ralderon. Those two Dreadnoughts are the same Dreadnoughts, and in fact, I've referenced most of the models on my board in that actual story. Now moving up, this is what happened to the Knights of House Tranquil in my short story on the fall of House Tranquil. So, yes, unfortunately they did lose and most of them became Slaaneshi Demon Knights, but hey, they get tentacles and orgies out of it, so it's not too much of a loss. So, yes, my rather delightful knights there. Now this guy is the same Dreadnought from my Nostraman Dreamer. So I actually built the model and then wrote the story around the model I built. So again, lightning lines are a bit thick, but that is the actual, the same character. And that's just one of the great strengths of 40k, is that I can create these characters and write stories about them and make models about them. Now that is Captain Croesus Argentus of the Last Sons of Horus. He was actually a model. I invented him before I gave him a model. That's his Terminator Command Squad right there. So there's Harakal and Surian and all the others. But I actually created him as a character, then built the model for him, then wrote the story about him. So that's just kind of an interesting sort of tidbit. And as you can see in my collection, there's actually a few models I've referenced in my stories, or am planning to reference in my stories at a later date. And that's just a brilliant strength of the 40k universe, and of the fact you can have the tabletop and the lore and the extended universe together, is that you can create your own characters, you can write stories about them, you can have models of them, and it's all perfectly valid, mostly. Make your own Primarch, you might get laughed at, but it's all perfectly valid, and it's just one of the brilliant things I like about 40k and the 40k universe, is that ability just to be creative with it. You don't have to just have Marius Kelgar on the tabletop or just have named characters. You can make your own. It's more fun to make your own. They're cooler anyway, and they're less Mary Sue-ish. as long as you're not one of those types that enjoy Mary Sue's. But yeah, this was just a quick video because I want to encourage the trend of your dudism to everyone. So, have you got a 40k character you've made a model for, or want to make a model for? Share it in the comments. Let me know their backstory. I love seeing and hearing about this sort of stuff. So, as I said, yeah. Or share it on the Discord if you like, 601. But let me know. I love hearing about this sort of stuff. So, cheerio for listening if you did. And I'll catch you again another time. Ah.